we're gonna talk about how to make a big move and why it's important.
A big move is in like a move to a new place by yourself, independently, and why it's important to do such a move. So let's get started. So.
We're gonna cut.
What? Who is walking this way?
Morgan?
Wait.
Hey.
Hold on. Wait. Let me just.
I'm just visiting, but it's good to see you guys.
Oh my
How
gosh.
you doing?
Good. Wow.
Whoa!
Scrok is from my hometown.
You see that?
Holy. And he also made a big move by himself.
Yeah,
Would you like to be in our video?
I would love to.
Come take a seat. We are talking about why is it important to make a big move by yourself, how to do
You're
it.
our first guest.
Our first guest star.
I feel
You all were begging for it. Thousands of DMs asking. So, I moved from Massachusetts to Philadelphia to California by myself. Miriam moved from Italy to
New York. From Miami.
to here by herself.
And I moved from Massachusetts to California, Orange County, by myself.
Okay, so let's start with how do you do it?
Yeah, like when I decided that I want to be an au pair, I was probably 17 years old, and I just like read it probably in a sponsorized page on Facebook, I think, and I was like, wow, let me read about this. Like working across the country and living with an American family and traveling wherever you want to do it, just like do it. And I was like, I'm gonna think about this. And when I actually applied for it, I was at my last year of high school, and I'm so glad I did it. It took me some time because at the beginning, of course, you're scared because you're very young. I had no English when I moved here, so
That's hard.
I was like,
Props
how I'm
to
gonna
Miriam.
work
Props.
with kids without knowing English? How I'm gonna do this? How I'm gonna talk to families to get me that I don't know how? Like I was so scared about that. And when I actually moved here, it was hard, and I felt so proud of myself that I did it, because I did it for a lot of reasons. I did it because I wanted to move by myself, find myself, know new people from other country, and share my culture and tradition with them. And I'm so glad I did it. And I always say to people that if you feel it, but you're scared, afraid to actually do it, you should push yourself to do it 100%, because it's always worth it. Even if it doesn't go how it was supposed to go, how you plan it, it's always worth it. Like I didn't plan to live in 4 different cities, but it happened because now everything went how it was supposed to go. And that's how I grow. In hard situations, I put myself in hard and big situations, and that's how I learned a lot of things, and I'm so glad I did it.
Wait,
That's
one more
powerful.
question. Yeah. How long did it take for you to learn the American language? And like, how did you study on yourself? Did you just listen to the host family around you?
So when I just got there, I was watching a lot of movies with the English subtitles, and I would listen to the music and actually go read the words, because in Italy I was just singing without knowing the sense of the song. And
You're like,
when I got
"Yo,
here,
baby."
yeah. So like when
You're like saying like,
yeah.
she a gold digger. You don't even know what it means.
So when I got here, I was like, this song is saying these bad things, and I was screaming at it, you know, like I remember myself in Spain with my best friend. In Italy, we would like sing the song that would say really, really, really bad thing. Like we would give ourselves beaches. We would be like, we're bitch, and then singing without knowing it, and people would look at us very, very bad. They were like, why they're looking at us like that? Because we did not know English, and we would sing English American songs without
That's
having
really funny.
a sense of it. It was crazy, but also very fun. So that's how. Movie, I would talk to people. I would like hang out by myself at the beginning, because of course when you get here you have no friends. So I would just get out and talk to people, ask information about like the place, and then they would start talk to you, and then how you met people, and then the group on Facebook of the au pairs and my LCC group. So it was very easy to find people for me and helped me a lot to learn the language. And yeah, I think friends, family, the host family helped me as well, because they would talk to me and tell me like the right way to say the things, and I would correct myself as well. And the kids, they're not afraid to correct you, because they are like, they're not like afraid that you will get it personally. Like
they're more blunt with
adults will be like, oh, I can't tell her that she said this very, like, she can't, you know? So
unless you're me.
Yeah, unless you're Morgan. Mommy.
I'm Mama Morgan.
So I love people that correct me, but not everybody feels comfortable with it.
Oh, thanks for sharing, Mom.
Of course.
All right, so Scrok, do you want to tell us about your logistics of,
Yeah,
how
let
did
me
you
get in a
decide to move here?
Better position.
This is your talking position.
For me, I never lived on my own. I was like a mama's boy. I felt for 30 years. Home cooked meals, this and that. The only time I really lived by myself was at college. And I went through drug addiction and alcoholism for many years. I've overcome that battle, 8 years sober today. So throughout that mission, I was doing a lot of work on the sidelines with the recovery. And living in a small town, I'm sorry,
that was rude of me. Continue.
Living in a small town, I just felt
we're not used to have a guest.
Living in a small town.
I felt like I was stuck in a cycle. There wasn't a lot of opportunity for me. And throughout sobriety, I've learned a lot more about myself and becoming more independent. So when I got the opportunity to move out to California, I was more eager than anxious, and I drove the whole way across the country by myself, stopping at hotels to sleep. I didn't take any drugs to stay awake, just so you know. But I made it, and started working in treatment in Murrieta. And after 2 months, it didn't really work out. So now it came to like the overcoming obstacles aspect of my life, where I didn't have family nearby and I had to figure things out on my own. And that's part of becoming stronger within yourself. So during that month where I left my job, I had to tell my family, and a lot of people don't know that month was very, very difficult for me because I had no safety net. And I was in reality in a state of depression. And I was, thinking about going to the liquor store and this and that. But I developed the coping skills to reach out for help through my sobriety page, and a lot of support through that, which got me through. And, even think about going back home. Those were some of my thoughts. And I was like talking to family, and they just pushed me to stick it out and find another job. And, within a month, I found a new place in Newport Beach, and I'm a case manager now in treatment. Thank you, in graduate school. And just moving across the country, I'm working with awesome people. I built some great connections. And
you meet an Italian with a big accent.
You live near me.
Right, and part of my life right now is like independency. And that's huge for a lot of people. A lot of people are afraid to
be independent,
be different, and even experience things on their own.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I facilitate these groups on codependency now, and I always tell myself, do I really need someone holding my hand if I want to do something? No. If people don't want to do something with you, you can still do it by yourself. I'm like, have you ever been to the beach by yourself? Yes. Have I ever been to a concert by myself? Yes.
No.
And people
That's cool,
people are afraid to do that, but it really makes you a stronger person when you develop those skills. So that's a little insight about how I moved and why I moved and how I'm doing today.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Okay. I moved from same hometown in Massachusetts, small town, to Philadelphia, and then to San Diego. So pretty much my whole life I always kind of fantasized of living in a world that there were it wasn't a small town, there were a lot more diversity around me, and there was nice weather. It's something I always kind of wished I had, but never actually took steps to actually get there. And then I was gonna graduate with my undergraduate degree, and I really wanted to move somewhere else after that degree. So I had decided to move to Philadelphia for all kinds of reasons. I was working for a speaking company, speaking at schools. They only had offices in New England and Philadelphia and New York, so I couldn't really go that far. So I decided on Philadelphia. So I moved to Philadelphia, and I did this also to work at an eating disorder treatment center. Side note, I had an eating disorder and went to treatment for it, so we bond with that.
Recovery for
Recovery.
life.
Oh. Yeah, so that's why I moved to Philadelphia, because also in my hometown there's no eating disorder treatment centers. So I knew I could speak at schools in Philadelphia, and I knew I could work with eating disorders, which I really, really wanted to do. So I did that, and this was last February. So a month in, COVID hit, which was the last thing I expected, making like this huge move that was so hard for me.
I'm vaccinated.
You're
Me too! First dose!
Second
I'm not
dose. I'm all
Paula.
good.
Yeah, so I did not expect, after making this huge life decision, to move from my small town, that's all I knew, comfort zone, completely by myself, to this new city and this new job, new world, knowing no one, that a global pandemic was going to happen a month later, and I was going to be an essential worker in it. So,
Samesies.
yeah, yes. So, you too, right?
Yeah,
'cause we're all
we
here
all
during
worked
COVID.
through
Yeah,
the pandemic.
we all, yeah.
That's why we're
Yeah,
so
because we're all
strong.
essential workers.
Imagine quarantine.
I had to learn how to manage that, and throughout that I started to get pretty depressed also, and that's when I got my cat in the peak of the pandemic.
Cashew!
Cashew, yeah.
Cat, great cat.
Hard to
Met
get
him a
him.
couple times.
My roommate was upset that I needed to get an emotional support animal. I had some conflicts with my roommate, who I also didn't know. I found this person on Facebook as well. So I pretty much, with this logistics for this, I found an apartment. I went on Facebook and looked Philadelphia roommates, met this girl that I ended up rooming with. I roomed with her, got my cat in the middle of the pandemic because I was really, really depressed, and the cat helped me. This is just another side note. You don't have to do this to make a move, but it helped me a lot to get an animal because he gave me more purpose
You
every
wanna
day.
be independent? Get a cat.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it.
For real, he gave me a reason to wake up every day. Like, something needed me. I
Yeah.
felt needed. I felt loved, and I felt.
It just like
And it's
with
just
my
comfort.
babies.
It's just like comfort. Yeah, he just gives me unconditional love, and I just needed that so badly. So I got this cat, made him my emotional support animal, this and that, and then as the pandemic was going on, I wasn't speaking at school, so I realized in my head, like, my dream of moving to this place that is sunny and open and all this could actually potentially come true. And one day I was texting my best friend Sid, shout out to Sid, and I was complaining. I was saying, I really wish I could just go live in Hi, Sid. I was saying, I really wish I could just live in California. And she said back the simplest thing, but it really changed my perspective. She said, why don't you? And that just, when she said that, it clicked, because I was like, she's right. There's literally no reason I cannot do this except for the self-imposed limits that I put on me. So when she said that, the wheels started turning, and I did the same thing. I went on Facebook, found San Diego roommates, found a roommate, found within my budget. I quit my job at that center because that's a whole other story, a lot of ethical issues. And I got a remote job so I could do it anywhere, and the same thing, mental health. And now here I am. And Cashew.
Ice cream, man.
Yeah, you
Ooh.
got the song too. That's our story.
That's our stories. And I just also want to ask you guys, why do you think it's important to do that? To make that move by yourself?
Independency, number one, but also like becoming more responsible and overcoming obstacles. Like for me, when I moved to Murrieta and had to relocate, it was a big challenge for me because I had to break my lease. I didn't have a lot of money, so I made the choice to take out my retirement fund because it was like $2,000 to break the lease. And then I'm relocating to Fullerton, California, and I have to pay first and last month's rent. So, you know, living out here is a barrier sometimes financially. So I had to overcome that. And like, I found myself moving all my furniture and everything by myself because I had an SUV at like 11, 12 o'clock at night for like 2 weeks because I didn't know anybody at the time. So like, I had to do everything on my own, and it really gained a sense of confidence reliability in myself that I can like make another change and overcome barriers while I'm here. So it just made me stronger, you know, that I can do whatever I put my mind to and just have a positive mindset even if issues occur. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Love it.
Miriam, what about you? What is the most valuable thing you've taken away by, like, why is it important?
So when I was 18 years old and I finished my high school, I was wondering what I could do after that, because I did not want to study any of the university because I did not know what I want to study, what kind of job I want to get. So for me, it didn't make sense to go in a university and study like everybody of my age were doing in that period. So I just knew that I wanted to go and find myself somewhere far from here, because from Italy, where I was living in my little town, Cesenatico, I just felt I wanted to go and travel somewhere for a long time, push myself. I pushed myself to do it because I wanted to be independent, because I wanted to learn a language that at school the teacher would never push me to learn it, would talk to me in Italian and explaining me in English, so I couldn't never learn anything, and I really wanted to learn it because I always liked it, but not in a different way. And so to learn the language, to be independent, to travel, I think that was my three biggest reasons to leave. And I want to like also understand now that I'm here, I understand a lot of things. For example, how important is to feel that the people in Italy, they are still waiting for you and they still love you, your family, you miss your friends, and your bond is just gets stronger because I feel them close to me. So I understood also a lot of things, a lot of my friendship relation, a lot of my family relation. That's basically, I think, the big reasons.
Those are really good reasons.
Yeah, I like that.
Especially your point on, like, you really see who was always a constant and always reliable and always a source of unconditional love in your life when you leave.
Even like people, like the most important people for me from Italy, even if they didn't text me every day, they would probably pass 6 months and then they will text me or I will call them. The bond is still like that. Nothing changed. Like, I'm here from almost 2 years and nothing has changed with my relation back in Italy, and that's amazing, because at the beginning I was also afraid of that. I was like, what about everybody's gonna forgive about me after, like, I'm gonna be here for 2 years and 6 months. So I was like, I don't know if I can do this. It's like, you can always go back, but
right, home's not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah. And the people that were meant to be a part of your home aren't going anywhere either.
Yeah, and like you find out like who really cares about you and stuff. Like my best friend Pranam, love him to the day I die. We met in kindergarten, best friends to this day. And like I feel like he's happier than I am that I made this big change. Like he's a constant motivator for me. We speak every week, you know, and talk for a half an hour and just catch up on things. So it's really important to realize who is important to you and stay connected with them.
Yeah, and it really puts it into perspective when you have that distance.
Absolutely.
And I think that kind of brings it to my most important or most valuable thing I've gotten is being able to trust my capability of making good decisions for myself. Because I came from a place where I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust myself with my thoughts. I didn't trust myself with my body. I just did not have any kind of trust within me. And I was not my friend. So being able to make a move where I only had me to trust. I had to trust that leaving everything that the only thing I knew for 22 years of my life was, or 23 years of my life was this small town in Massachusetts. Like the furthest my family went for a family vacation was Disney World. So that just comes, it just comes to show. Like I didn't have a lot of, and that's not it's not that I regret that or anything, but like now I still have a life to live and I still have things to see, and just because I've been in one place and I'm comfortable there doesn't mean I should stay there. When I left, I was so anxious, and I remember literally listening to Good Cry by Noah Cyrus on repeat, sobbing the night before, and my old boss's arms. I went to the bar and I put whipped cream in people's drinks. Yeah, I'm not sure why I did that part, but anyway, that's what I did the night before I left. But I remember literally thinking to myself,
Just you.
why am I making this decision when I'm happy right now? Like, nothing's broken. Why should I try to fix it? But then I realized just because I'm comfortable doesn't mean I shouldn't keep pushing, because I was satisfied, but I was settling in a sense where I knew that like I was at a point where I could go farther and I could do more and I could see more and meet more people and do more things.
And part of life is like the experience and seeing new places and
like you want to
really
live
cool.
the life.
Literally.
It's a big world out here, so it's like we can travel this way or that way. California's huge, and we can see places we've never seen before.
Yeah, and plus like people that you meet too. Like I didn't expect to meet Miriam. Like you've opened my eyes so much in so many ways to different
She's awesome.
culture,
I just met her
like
today.
Diversity. Like she's just
Good person.
amazing, and like
good person.
She introduced me to other au pairs. Like now I have friends from France. I have a friend from Germany. Like that's really cool, and that's not something I would have if I strongly do not think I would have anything like that if I stayed in my hometown. And that's nothing necessarily against my hometown. It's just it's small, it's secluded. And
Everybody knows everybody.
yeah, it didn't give me a chance to be able to really discover who I am because I was so attached to labels that people put on me. Like in my hometown, I was the sick girl. I was the girl who had the eating disorder. I was the girl who wrote the book. I was the gym girl. Like I was all these things. And when I went to Philadelphia, I didn't have a label. I didn't know anyone.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I couldn't rely on all these labels other people have given me. I had to rely on who I was at the core. And that was really scary because I wasn't even sure who that was. So it forced me to find out who that was and recognize that she can be loved exactly as she is.
That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
you can follow my page Scab365 if you need support in mental health or recovery from substance abuse.
highly recommend.
Check me out.
Check it out.
And follow if you want more of our faces.
Building
Better Days.
Good page.
Yeah.